birth is unpredictable, so we can never say for sure what way things are going to go. It doesn't feel like you're being offered a choice. It feels like you're being told what to do.
On this episode of Spill the Tea with LLIB, we are lucky enough to be joined by Anne-Marie, one half of the Doula Training Foundation. So Anne-Marie, can you share with our listeners more about your business and that unique aspect of it that sets it apart?
Okay, so I, with another doula, Gemma, am part of the Doula Training Foundation, and our passion is about training women to become doulas. So doulas support women in pregnancy with antenatal education, general support, and we go with women and be with them for the birth, support them throughout that. Work together as a team with them. We've got to know them. We know what's important to them. Support them then postnatally in their recovery, their journey into motherhood, and with their newborn babies. So our training is a 4-day in-person experience. None of it is online. It's all in person, and we very much want to empower other women to become doulas, to offer that support, which is so needed in our communities now.
100%. How many doulas are there, would you say, within the Merseyside region? Do you know? Or?
Yeah, there's probably within sort of the northwest region, there could be about 40-ish doulas, all working in different capacities. We are all self-employed, so it's about making your business your own. So they all have different offers. Some of them do more postnatal support, some do more births, some do just antenatal education or overnight support, which is very popular with new parents who wouldn't like that. Someone to look after the baby while they got some sleep.
So are there like doulas for dads?
Being a doula is very much about supporting the birth partner in the room as well. So whether that's a mum or a friend or a partner, a dad. Because if they know that there's someone else in the room who know what the birthing person wants, they can relax as well. It makes it easier for them. They don't feel like that whole responsibility is on their shoulders. So we very much support them as part of the process as well. And the whole family. So in terms of postnatal support, it's about helping the whole family function afterwards. So that can be doing a family meal, putting something in the slow cooker for tea, putting a wash on, as well as getting all those lovely baby cuddles as well. So we really are passionate about getting more doulas out there because women definitely need that support after they've had a baby.
I feel like you are the voice for the woman when she may not feel, and I know birth is empowering and it's incredible, but having 3 children, sometimes that vulnerability and that having you there, if I'd have had a doula, which I didn't even know about a doula when I had my 3 children, or I would have 100% signed up on the dot. You wouldn't have been able to get rid of me. Definitely. I feel like you would have been my voice.
Yeah. We are that voice very much. And also in terms of late pregnancy, a lot of decisions get thrown a woman's way in terms of how to proceed. Induction is on the increase massively. And to help women navigate that system and try and achieve the birth that they want, their dream birth, that's what we're all about. Birth is unpredictable, so we can never say for sure what way things are going to go. But just helping to know that there's choices, because often in the system now, it doesn't feel like you're being offered a choice. It feels like you're being told what to do. And so knowing that you have choices available to you, having information and making informed decisions makes a world of difference to how you feel at the end of the experience.
Sure. And especially for like a lot of women who don't have family close by, you know, or they're on their own, or, you know, they are very young, or anything. I mean, now more than ever, I feel like doulas, there needs to be more education that, you know, you have this service, this incredible service, and you can ask for help and they'll be on your team.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pressure to, you know, get back to normal after you've had a baby. You see things on social media, and some women are out and the baby's 2 days old and they're there and every looking glam, baby's all dressed perfectly.
How do they do that?
Yeah, it's a snapshot. Do they, you know, it's a moment in time that you see, but that puts pressure on women to think that's what I should be doing. And in so many cultures all around the world, we really respect that period, that early motherhood and nurture women, and we need to get back to that here.
Is there a culture that you can highlight that you that is a nice and what we should be doing more of?
So a lot of the Asian traditions are around the 40 days or the 6-week lying-in period, where women around the person who's just given birth, the new mother, will come and they'll bring nourishing food, they'll look after the baby, they'll do massage and body treatment to help the body recover after pregnancy and birth.
Wow.
And really all the woman who's given birth needs to do is just look after herself and feed the baby, and they do everything else. And
That
it's so
sounds amazing,
nurturing,
doesn't it?
That sounds incredible. And you know, when you have a baby, it's what does the baby need? And I always remember saying when my friend had her baby, oh, we'll have a baby shower and we'll do this and we'll do X, Y, and Z. And when the baby's born, what do you need for the baby? And actually, a homemade lasagna taken round 2 days after giving birth
1,000%
would have been so much better
Game
than
changer.
you know, a designer outfit or you know, something for the baby. Like ask the woman like what she needs. Like definitely.
And practical help is very much you know, top of the list. You know, book a cleaner for someone, book meal vouchers.
There was a
dog
woman
walker. Yeah,
there was a woman who did
help.
that. She invited everybody to a hen party and said, okay, I don't want any gifts. I want every single one of you to come every week to do my cleaning.
Oh, wow.
And there were like 20 of them and they all came 20 weeks, you know, one after the other. And she had a cleaner for 20 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Brilliant.
It's a wonderful idea. So those sort of gifts are far more helpful than another baby grow or teddy bear or...
Can you gift someone a doula?
You can buy
that's
gift
great,
vouchers. You can do that through the doula themselves or through Doula UK. And it's also a good idea for people who are leaving work. And sometimes they'll get asked, what would you like for a gift, a leaving gift, if you're
That's brilliant.
leaving work to have a baby. And again, doula vouchers. What person wouldn't say, I want some extra help. I want some help to plan my birth. I want some antenatal education. Or I want an extra pair of hands for the first month after I have my baby.
So is it just when you have a baby? Because my daughter's 8 and I definitely would like a gift of a doula. Well, how long do you stay with the family for? What's the longest time you've stayed with the family for?
So for me, the longest time I've been with a family is up to a year.
Oh, wow, okay.
All doulas are different and all doulas work differently. So there's no hard and fast rules about that. But generally it's the first few months. That 4th trimester really is generally the period that you would be with the family.
And it depends on if there's been a difficult birth or there's been an injury. Because I remember I broke my tailbone. And I wish there'd been somebody, you know, who could have been helping out first baby. If I could go back in time, I would definitely do this.
It's really hard.
And there must be so many women facing that, right? Like tears and problems.
And cesarean rates are higher than they've ever been before. So local hospitals, all hospitals provide their statistics monthly. And cesarean rates are up to 40-ish%, if not more. And we've got to look as a society, if that number of women are having cesareans, what's going wrong in our system?
I had a really awful thought then around if that's so high now, when my daughter has babies, are planned cesarean just going to be the way to have a baby? For convenience, for not only the hospital, but for the woman and the family as well.
I think there is an element to that. Some women are choosing, and we are pro-choice, we want women to have the choice, but some women are choosing to have babies by cesarean because they feel like they can schedule it in because it fits in with our life to know when that's going to happen.
I've heard of this, yeah.
Where birth is very primitive, and we really should be allowing the body to do its thing if we want
100%.
things to happen in the best time. Baby knows when the best time to be born is.
Yeah.
And usually that you saying that then, you know, to fit in, most of the time we fit everything in around other people. So that woman might be just fitting that in when her husband's home or her partner's home. And, you know, it's not actually her choice. It's actually the choice to fit in around somebody else, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We make everything convenient for everybody
So from day
else.
one, since having a child, the first child, that woman's kind of given up her boundaries that way, isn't it? That
And we forget that, you know, a cesarean is major surgery.
Yeah.
There's no other operation that you would have that a few hours later you're going to be up looking after another human being, totally responsible for them.
Oh my God.
Up and down in the night. And all your hormones recovering from pregnancy.
And when you leave, your doctor or nurse doesn't give you any kind of guidance or training or something. And I know this from experience. I know, like a manual. And it's funny because my husband's a doctor, but he knew nothing about gynecological issues or birthing or anything like that. So it's really sad that way that the doctors and nurses are not trained in any way of post-surgery treatment and recovery and well-being.
That doesn't surprise me. And even the simplest of things, if a woman has had a cesarean, showing her an easier way to get out of bed when she gets home, or you know, anything like that just makes things easier.
And what inspired you then to venture into that? It's a niche in itself. It's a very nurturing role. What made you think, oh, I want to be a doula?
So a little bit about what you said then. When you give birth, you're very powerful, but you're also quite vulnerable at the same time, if that makes sense. And for me, for one of my births, I felt like I just needed a bit of extra support, and I wasn't sure what that was. And then a couple of years after that, I found out about doulas, and it all just fell into place. And I thought, that's what I needed. That's what I wanted. I found out more about it, and then embarked on some training, and realised that actually in terms of postnatal support, I'd been doing that for my friends anyway. So I'd been the person who turned up with the lasagna or, you know, helped them, went round not as a visitor, but went round to help, to, you know, help enable them to have a nap or have a shower or whatever that was. So it felt very natural to me. And then as I got more and more involved, I realised almost you can't separate the two. I almost, well, I did become an advocate, a campaigner, because there's so much in the birth world that isn't the way it's supposed to be. As you say, what's it going to mean for our next generation of women growing up in terms of the way the system's going and how medicalised it is and how women are not listened to. There's just been a campaign about pain and about women's pain being dismissed in the medical environment, and you know, they're not listened to. So we need to change things.
Do you also feel like women feel like they can do it all and they don't ask for help? Because that's how we've been, society is. Like, you know, when we need some help, like whether it's with cleaning or looking after the kids or around the house, women are like, oh, I'll just do it myself. I'll just do you feel
it's just easier sometimes to just not ask for support and just to do it yourself, because it's quicker and you know it's going to be done properly. Like that's my
I was going to say that's probably how you think as
but
well,
then
right?
that's a problem I need to work on, in terms of I need to ask for help and just step back and allow them to learn how to do, you know. I said to my daughter this morning, and she won't mind me sharing this, but she goes to university in September and she left her washing basket outside her room like a hotel. And it's been there for 2 days. And I walked past it this morning. I actually knocked and got something that she'd borrowed from me. And I went past this morning and I actually said to her, can you take that down when you next go down? Because this is not a hotel and I am not a maid. And she was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just getting this and I'm just getting that and I'm getting ready for college and I'm going to university in September. So obviously I've got to be doing something now.
Yeah.
But that's,
Yep.
I could have took that back. It would have
Yeah.
been easier, and that those clothes would have been washed 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But I need to work on that quite a lot.
Well done, Claire.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
We're not good at asking for help.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask someone, a new mum, how you doing? Most of the time, the answer that you get back, I'm fine. And then I always follow that up a little bit later with, so how are you doing?
Yeah.
Because,
we're not even
sometimes we're
asked
not
this
fine.
question. How are you doing? I like at the dinner table, like, how was your day? How's your day? And then the mom gets left behind. Nobody really asks, how are you really doing? How was your day? How you been?
I tend to start my counselling sessions off, especially I work a lot with mums. I'm just in the middle of finishing a book around a woman's identity when she becomes a mum. My identity was lost when I had my children. Everything become about them, which is rightly so. I'm their protector. But I forgot that actually my children are watching me live to learn how to live. So if I'm not living my life, how am I showing them and teaching them how to live a life? And I let the title mum and the gifted title of mum and the precious, and I adore being a mum, but I'm not just a mum. Like, I am a woman and I have got needs and I have got ambition and I have got goals, and that's okay. Like, no amount of guilt should ever stop me from wanting to pursue. Because they're going to go and do their own things.
And they'll be okay.
And I'll be left behind with my husband who wants to move to Texas. Like, no.
Just throw that in.
No. Like, this is, Texas of all places. But I absolutely love that. And most of the women I work with who are mums, and why I've written this book, is not only because of my journey, but because when we go on a counselling call and I ask, I don't ask now, how are you? I go, okay, we always start our counselling sessions with 2 positives and 1 challenge. So tell me 2 things that you've done this week that you are proud of yourself for. And you know what they say? Oh, well, the kids got this or they got this. And I go, no. You, Claire, not mum. Not wife, not partner, not sister, you Claire, what have you done this week? So even if you think about that now, what have you done this week that you're proud of? You instantly think about your family, don't you? So asking a woman, and having that second, how are you really? That is so important. And I'm sure she'd open up to you a lot more and be vulnerable more towards you than she would do maybe family members, because they're emotionally involved with
you're a little bit
them.
outside of that, so it is easier sometimes to talk to someone. And very much not feeling like you've lost yourselves in those early days of motherhood. It's easy to do. And it's, that transition into matrescence is the word for it. And we don't even use that commonly in society, but it's a rite of passage.
Wow.
It really is.
Having some support during that time is vital.
Yeah.
Sometimes those offers of support are really, there's lots of them in the early days. And the new mum often says, oh no, I'm fine. And then when she really needs them a few months down the line, the offers have dried up because everyone thinks she's okay.
Yeah. And that's so true as well, because after having a baby, the first couple of weeks, you're kind of like still on a high. And you're like, I can do this and this. And then it's like, I feel like it's the 3rd month, 4th month.
It hits.
And it kind of hits you because everybody's left. Right? The dad's gone back to work, the kids are in school, you're left with a child, and you're like, where am I? What am I doing?
Yes.
That's when you need it the most. That's so true. I love that. Right. So if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Well, changing the world one birth at a time.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so there's lots going on within the system. Induction rates are really high again. 40% in some places of women are being induced. What's going on?
What is going on?
Women aren't trusted to listen to their instincts, listen to the bodies, go into labour naturally. If that many women needed help to get into labour, would the population be what it is, today? We're doing something, we're interfering with things, and that has a knock-on effect. So it feels like there's a shortage of midwives, there's a lot going on, and it feels like there's so much to change. There's been a big inquiry which is just closed yesterday in terms of birth trauma.
Wow.
So there's about 700,000 births a year, and about a third of women, so about 210,000 women, are left with birth trauma each year. That's horrendous.
That really
You
is.
know, it's not possible to change all of that. It's not possible, you know, to do everything. So it's one birth at a time. And for that woman and that birth experience, if that can be a more positive one, then what better job satisfaction is there than that? That's, yeah.
But you're not just doing it as you are creating this incredible training platform to now gift other women, you know, the knowledge, the empowerment, the nurturing of what comes with being a doula. Like, that's pretty.
It is.
It's
It's
pretty
amazing.
incredible,
It's
isn't it?
amazing. And, you know, when women, as you well know, come together, great things happen. We support each other.
100%.
It's not competition. It's, you know, we hold each other up.
Yeah.
And women use these skills in different ways. So we've had some holistic therapists who've come on our courses who do acupuncture and reflexology, cranial sacral therapy, and they're going to use the knowledge and the skills they've got as part of their current offer with their clients. And other women are going to set up their businesses as doulas. There's some who work with nutrition and are going to focus on postnatally the nutrition. But
that sounds amazing. I'm not saying this, but if there's baby number 3, you know, definitely I would
100%.
Because I didn't know about this. I don't know any about this when I was having my first two.
Has obviously been a doula. Like, why didn't we know about this? Like, my eldest is 18 now.
Yeah.
Why didn't I see this? Is it because of social media? Is it because
it is becoming more popular? It definitely is. It's becoming wider known. So when we say what we do, more people know about it now than maybe even 5 years ago. And we're just really keen to spread the word, let people know, because if you don't know, you can't engage with the services.
Exactly.
You can't get
knowledge
that
is
support.
power,
Yes,
isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you could give, you know, one bit of advice to an expectant mum who is listening to this show right now, or a friend or a family member of an expected mum, what advice would that be? Like, that one bit of advice. What can they do within their power to best support, besides gifting a doula, which is what my advice would be? What would your, you know, top bit of advice be?
So I think it would be to realise that what's being offered to them in terms of antenatal care and checks and scans and induction or cesarean or anything else is just that. It's an offer.
Okay.
And they can make an informed decision about that. They can get information. They can consult with their medical team. They can trust their instincts and choose the path that's right for them. It's always an offer. Because people get swept along by the system. They feel they have to go to that next step. And that's when they become dissatisfied with the birth and what happened to them. And that's what we think contributes to the trauma. So that would probably...
Is it, and is it also, in addition to trauma, is it postpartum depression as well?
Yeah.
Is that something that's linked?
If a woman isn't happy with her birth experience, that stays with her for the rest of her life. She didn't forget that. And so it does affect those early days. It can affect bonding with the baby. If, you know, the mother is not well, it can affect feeding. And all of that affects not just the woman and the baby, but the wider family as well.
Yes,
100%.
The whole family gets impacted. So the better that we can make things for women, the better it is all around for everybody.
Absolutely. I love that.
Wow. That's amazing.
So if you could spill the tea with anyone, I'm really interested to who you say now, who would you choose and why?
Well, you might be a bit surprised. Louis XIV, not that I'm particularly fond of French history.
The king.
The king. The king.
Didn't see that coming.
Apparently it dates back to him, the tradition of women giving birth on their backs, lying on a bed.
Wow.
we are mammals. We should be having our babies in a more upright position and free to move.
Oh, so would you tell him over that cup of tea?
Yeah. So if we do that, if we
wow.
give birth in a more upright position, we're allowing more flexibility in our pelvis, and we're allowing gravity to help us to help baby on the way. And he apparently did that. His wife and mistresses who had babies, he had an interest in birth. He wanted to see what was going on.
Oh my God.
Yes. So he
That's
had
called
them
micromanaging to
on
an
the
extreme,
back
isn't it?
so that he can see what was going on really clearly. And then people thought, well, if royalty are doing it, that must be a good thing to do. And it became more common practice.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine if you could do that. Go back and undo.
Yeah, I am going to share just on that note. So obviously I've had 3 incredible, babies, and, 2 of them are nearly, well, one of them's bigger than me now. But my 3 birthing experiences have all been so different. So with my first, I was very young. I'd just come out of the Royal Navy. I was in a not so great relationship. So it wasn't a great environment anyway. I had my mum there. I went in, natural birth. No, I went into labour naturally because nothing was induced. That word 18 years ago wasn't really around. And I went in and I had an epidural, I had pethidine, I had gas and air. I can't, they probably give me more stuff, but I didn't know. I was terrified. I was sick the whole way through my pregnancy. I was tiny. I was in and out of hospital so much on drips. It was an awful experience. And then when I gave birth to Dylan, I couldn't even hold him. I was still being sick. The hormones were still in my body. As soon as they were out, I was okay. Then I got really bad travel sickness as well. So that was with Dylan. I was in there for days, what felt like days in labour. And then with Emmy, I was that traumatized from my birthing experience with Dylan. I didn't want to go to the hospital straight away. So I was like, okay, I'm having this baby. I'm in labour. Again, it was only a year and 12 days later. Still in the same awful environment with an ex-partner. And then with Emmy, I went in and I left it that late. I got on the bed. I didn't lie down. The midwife was absolutely gorgeous. She sat me up on my knees, and Emmy was just born.
Wow.
She was just born. I didn't even have a gas and air. It was just like, and I didn't know what I was having. And if you are pregnant and you are listening to this and you haven't found out the sex of your baby, I loved that experience of not knowing. And when they said, you've had a little girl, I was like, oh my goodness, I've had a little girl. It was amazing. That was a gorgeous, but it wasn't a hospital, and it wasn't a hospital bed. And I had my mum there. And then with Aurora, I was induced.
Right.
I was induced, and I don't know why I was induced to this day, but I was induced 2 days early than a due date. And I had gas and air. I had a gorgeous midwife called Joanne, and she was amazing. But I just had the gas and air. I didn't have anything else. And I think that's because I'd experienced so much, and I was empowered by Emmy's birth. Like I was like, and she's still the easiest child now.
You always go back to that.
She besides the washing basket, she is the easiest child. Dylan is a little bit more, bit more harder work. But isn't that three different births, three different experiences? But imagine if I have my mum there, and she is like my own personal doula. But imagine having somebody else there, being a first time mum. I absolutely love this. But the burning question, we have a closing tradition on the show, as you know. If you were to make, the mum's just had a gorgeous baby and she needs that cup of Yorkshire tea.
Claire,
she needs that Yorkshire tea. How would you make, if you didn't have a teapot, how would you make that perfect cup of tea for that mum then?
Well, probably a little bit controversially. For me, it's coffee all the way.
Oh, okay.
Me too.
Okay.
Coffee all the way.
Okay.
And coffee bags are a thing.
Everything.
And I carry them with me in my doula bag with all
I
my
love that.
tips and tricks that I carry with me to birth.
But if she wants a cup of tea, I'm not going to let you get out of this, okay?
If she wanted a cup of tea, I, as a person who doesn't drink tea, need to know how strong it looks.
Yeah.
So I would tea bag in, hot water in, and then I would start to add the milk so I can get it to the right colour.
Amazing.
But
Amazing.
out of interest, how would you make the coffee bag?
Coffee bag. So coffee bag, the water doesn't have to be as hot, I don't think.
Okay.
So not quite boiling.
Yeah.
Coffee bag in and leave that to brew for a couple of minutes and then take the bag out.
And then add the milk.
Yeah.
So I think
and it comes in.
Yeah,
No,
Cal,
it's me. It's me, Myra. I'm not going to let you take this away from me, okay? Not today, Myra. Not today. I love that. That has been an incredible conversation.
So
I feel like
educational.
even with 3 children, I've learned so much. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. You've been an incredible guest on Spill the Tea.
Yay.